Hello and welcome to part two of the podcast. I've always wanted to do that. Okay, so it's rather interesting doing this because it's kind of weird, like having a dialogue with like a computer screen. You know what I mean? And you got to get a bit of emotion in there and everything. So I figured I'd do what I can to make it a bit more entertaining while trying to pass one or two messages here and there. We're talking about personality last time, and it got me thinking a lot about Nigerians in particular and the kind of stuff that they get into and so on. I was in the airport this time. I've told this joke a few times to a few friends of mine, so if you're bored of hearing it, just bear with me. I was in the airport, and we're all sitting down in the place just before you get onto the planes, and this air hostess comes out, and she's like, "Could all the passengers please that have women and children please board the plane first?" And women and children get up, everybody starts boarding, and then this Nigerian guy goes and joins the queue. And I'm sorry, yeah, but I'm looking at this guy and really hoping he's not standing there because you kind of have this feeling when someone that you know or you are associated with or something is doing something that's slightly embarrassing. You kind of feel like you're a part of the person. But this incident was too funny to go unnoticed because this guy goes and stands there. Then the woman goes up to him and she says, "I'm sorry, sir, but we're only accepting women and children right now. So I hope you wouldn't mind taking your seat, and then we'll call your seat number when it comes." And this guy looks at her and goes, "Eh? I should go back to my seat when I paid the same amount of money as all of these people. What kind of nonsense is that? That's how or all you white people will be treating us black people as if we are something. I don't understand that." So the woman looks at him and is like, "Excuse me, sir, are you insinuating that I'm a racist?" The guy said, "Eh? You are calling me and insinuating?" I burst out laughing so hard. It was one of the funniest things I have ever seen in my life. I was literally rolling there on the floor. It was just so embarrassing, but once again, it emphasizes personality as far as culture comes. Nigerians are just we are really loud and proud people. It's in our culture to show off, to be the one that makes a lot of noise, etc. Be noticed, and it's interesting because linking personality with love, yeah, I kind of feel that love is a personality. Yeah, this is just my own personal theory. You might disagree because I believe that Hollywood has a way of painting uh, pictures about love, which are not really true when you sit down and actually analyze it. And although you're probably wondering at this point, what link does that have to the story I just told? It has no link whatsoever. I'm wondering it myself, so don't bother about that. But love, you see, and personality, it takes a specific type of person to do certain things, right? So a person that is a person of love would act like it, would show it. He wouldn't do stuff that is wicked, as one might phrase it. But the way Hollywood has phrased it, it's like it's painted that love is an emotion. Now, I'm not really sure how true this is because I can relate completely with an emotion that I feel, for example, with my wifey. I tell her that I love her because I do. And what I mean when I say I love her is the immense amount of feelings that I have for her. But when I then compare that to what the general presumption of what love is, I don't see it as the same thing. Because, like I said, you see, Christ gives a command that says that we should love people. We should love God and love people. So, literally, it's almost like a set of instructions that you can apply in pretty much every scenario by asking yourself the question: am I doing this out of love? Is my motive love? Blah, blah, blah. And so that essentially would define your personality. So, if if you're in a scenario which Hollywood presents, where you see someone first time, you love the person, etc., it's love at first sight can't really exist. Forgive me for having this opinion, yeah, but I can understand if someone says you can get attracted to someone at first sight. Yeah, you see someone that's good looking, hey, that sort of thing. You get involved instantly, sort of thing. But when you actually break down what it is that is happening, yeah, people say that love, you don't have any control over it. It's just something that just takes over you. You don't understand it. You could be in a situation where I don't know, you're constantly having fights, or I don't know, the guy's beating you up, etc. That sort of thing. But because of the fact that he says he loves you, it makes all the difference. You see, the reason why the picture is painted that way is because there is an appealing nature to the way that Hollywood presents love. Yeah, it it makes you believe in this happily ever after scenario that really is nothing like life, because everything on screen is larger than life. It's exaggerated. That's why we go and watch it. We like the cinema effects. We like the horror that we know that it can never really happen, but we can imagine it happening by watching it, experiencing it through some other medium, sort of thing. So it's interesting when a person these days says "I love you." What does it actually mean? You know, and that's a completely on the side thing. But back to the issue of personality. Can can a person have a personality that is wicked and still have love inside them? In other words, he mistreats people. He I don't know, kills people, steals, blah blah blah. Does that remove something from him when you're trying to? Hmm. As you can might see, my thoughts are a bit crowded out here, and I don't like the idea of like recording and then going back and then trying to sort it out, blah blah blah. I figured that's probably best to just do everything one take. So bear with me if I stop sometimes to think. Um, you see, with love and this issue of personality, for a person to have an understanding of love, the person has to have an understanding of what love is. But the media has presented it in such a way that love cannot be understood. And so by presenting it that way, they've literally ensured that you can't really find love. What we find and then describe as love is, generally speaking, infatuation or lust or obsession, etc. Because I found myself in relationships where the main drive or the main thrust in the relationship is literally just sex. And because of the strong emotions that are connected with sex, it blinds you from seeing everything else that you would value in a relationship. So it kind of ruins your perspective on the relationship, because you're comparing to, man, the sex was good and that kind of thing, and you're just crowded out with other thoughts that make you miss the bigger picture. And this sort of fantasy world, as I would call it, creates this illusion on relationships, And last time I was talking about personality, and I'm just linking it all in together in some really tangled way that doesn't make sense. I really should just stick to writing. But yeah, it's how does a person become a loving person? Are you born that way, or is it literally something that one has to take a decision to be? In other words, you say you're gonna do certain things in order to convey yourself a certain way, simply because you feel that love is the best way to be. Now, I, for example, I smoke. Yeah, I smoke weed. I smoke cigarettes on occasion as well. Now, this is something that is highly stigmatized where I come from. So it's almost like blacklisted. Okay, so you're a smoker, you're a bad person. There's no two ways about it. There are other genres, the European world, etc. She smokes, she pokes, and all those other random ramblings on that they have concerning this issue of smoking. So it's not something that one can really just isolate to Nigeria, for example. But you get what I'm saying. And so I got like an email the other day from a person, and he said, it was an interesting question. He said, "Why is it that I can't talk to God, but yet you talk to God, meaning me, and you still committed sin, or you still commit sin, or words to that effect?" But generally, the picture they was painting is that I do bad things, quote unquote, like I smoke weed, I have a girlfriend, blah blah blah, etc. I'm not gonna go into what we get into, but all of that kind of stuff. And so, if in that situation, how is it that God can still speak? And the truth is, all of this imagery concerning God is lost because